Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jay and Will Show. I'm Jay.
I am Will.
And we are live here on YouTube, just doing a quick pregame warm up going into tonight's Thursday night football matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints. I just wanted to get on and just get a little pregame talk and just discuss some stuff that we wanted to touch on. Particularly, obviously, this game is a little bit different. COVID's kind of dealt us a different hand this week with Mike McCarthy not being available to coach. So we have Dan Quinn, who will be coming downstairs to be on the sidelines to coach or I guess maintain coaching responsibilities in this game. From what I understand, he'll still be the defensive coordinator for the most part, but obviously looking at things from his perspective, he's said that he prefers to be in the booth. So being on the ground, obviously, you have a little bit of a different dynamic. But we only got 20 minutes in this one, so I won't spend a whole lot of time. I'll just toss it over to you, Will. Just your own thoughts with keys to the game and how you feel like we'll have the opportunity to pull this one out.
I think it's interesting that they're getting hit harder by COVID this year than last year. So I think they need to pay attention to the restrictions as far as like within the team, just to be a little bit safer. Because between missing players and coaches, they said we've missed the most games this year from any team due to COVID, which is incredible. Blame that on Governor Abbott. But when it comes to the game today, it's going to be huge because it's going to be the first game in 2 years that we will actually have the stars of our offense actually play together. You have Tyron, Lyle, Zach, Dak, Zeke, Amari, CD, like they're all Michael Gallup, like they're all going to be on the field for finally all together, which is going to be incredible. Then you have when it comes to being able to get the defense out of the ball. You got Lawrence back. We got Tank back finally. Been able to help out. So this is going to be really interesting. Being able to see them healthy. And November left a bad taste in Dallas' mouth. I know it did go 1-3, but it's not. To me, it's not a panic time because you had the Super Bowl champs last year. Tampa, they struggled in November. They went 2-3. So I think it's good to actually struggle in the middle of the season like that instead of trying to catch your shot early because you can end up burning out early as well. So that's being able to see where you are, have time to fix it, and then boom, hit December. It's time to go ahead, get it rolling, and going into January. What up, Green? Real. Got people's in the chat.
Shout out to Anthony Green. What's going on, man? We will get to a non-Cowboys question here in a second. We just want to preview this. We have some time towards the end. We're starting to get to that. And what up, cuz? Yeah, shout out. What I wanted to touch on really quickly is a lot of what you said I agree with. And I think that one thing that has kind of given me reason to not panic is the fact that this little bit of a slide that we've hit, we have not been 100%. And I know obviously it's week 13, so obviously a lot of teams are dealing with the same kind of issues, but there's not a lot of teams that are in the level of echelon that the Cowboys are aspiring to get, where we're having wide receivers that are out, obviously looking at linemen that have been in and out of the lineup. Defensive end, Tank's only played one game this year. And then obviously we lose Brandon Gregory as well. So there's a lot of missing pieces that I think we're starting to get back. And as we get those pieces back, the hope obviously at that point is that we're able to kind of pick things up where we left off a month ago, like back in October, and be able to kind of hit that stride at the right time, like you were talking about. I think Tampa Bay last year was 7-4, just like we are at this point in time. So it's not out of the question. I think that the opportunity is there for us to make that run. But if we get the pieces back and we still have the issues that we're having on offense, then I think there is some cause for concern there, certainly. But I don't want to get to that point yet. So we'll kind of see. I think tonight's going to be important because you see those pieces coming back with Amari Cooper coming back, with CeeDee Lamb coming back. And like you mentioned earlier with Tank, you're starting to get more healthy. And so you'll see kind of this is more of a litmus test to see what this team is made of. Obviously, the Saints defense is not a slouch defense by any stretch.
at
They got a good
all,
defense.
at all.
Obviously, have a good front seven. So they obviously have the opportunity to make some noise if we are consistent on the front line. I don't know if Joe Philbin's gonna be back in this game. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I hope he is because that
Yeah,
continuity on the offensive line is important. And them having guys come
yeah,
in and out and playing
yeah,
every other drive, it's just we can't do that.
yeah,
So with this
yeah.
front seven, we have to be ready to go. Obviously, the Saints are banged up. We know that they'll be playing Taysom Hill at quarterback, and they'll also be without their two starting tackles on the offensive line. So there's some opportunities there as well to get right and kind of straighten things out from the D line's perspective. And obviously, with Tank coming back, there will be some opportunities there. And we'll see how they play Micah, whether he's coming on the line or playing out the ball. I'm sure they'll have him on the line a lot, so that should be fun
You're
and a look at. Um, any point of emphasis for you? Anything particular that you're looking at that you feel like we have to do well in order to win this game? I know people may look at the fact they're playing Taysom Hill at quarterback and feel like this should be an easy one, but these are the games
nah.
that typically we have an issue with. So
Yeah.
anything in particular that you're looking at that feel like we have to right in order to make sure we ensure to get a win tonight?
The trenches, the O line being able to protect Dak. It's been ugly the past few weeks, and that's where a lot of the struggle has been, especially on the offensive side. The offensive line been losing battles, being able to get pushed into Dak, and then the defensive line been allowing for all these big runs as well. So these being able to control the line of scrimmage. That's just number one. That's the only way they'll be able to win this game because they win up front, both sides of the ball. I think at that point you can control the game. They'll be able to run Zeke and Pollard as much as they want, and that would open it up for Dak even that much more as well. Because yeah, like you said, with this Saints defense, they're just going to have to get after them, and just like I've said the past few weeks. They got to score first. They does
Yeah.
has to score first because as soon as they score first, then we know it's on a rolling, can be able to put up points on the team because then it stresses the other team. But when they fall behind early, it can be a field goal, it can be a touchdown, and then at that point, it's just a struggle bus the rest of the way. So yeah, they got to get out here. They got to put up points early. To touch on Anthony's questions real quick, I think Russ would be smart to if he had a choice. I would go to New Orleans. He has a good
Facts.
defense down there. He got Michael Thomas. He got Alvin Kamara. That would be the spot to go. You got a good offensive coach as well that I think would actually be the cook as well. Like,
Facts.
and actually that'd be
No,
perfect
I
going down to Nolens to talk about Russ cooking down in Nolens. That would be craziness. And I think that'll be a fun, something fun to watch. And then as far as who's missing more, I would say Cooper, because Pollard actually been doing well with Zeke injury, having the knee issue the past couple of games. Been lingering. It lingered against Oakland, but it happened during the Kansas City game. His knee issue, but I think it's more Cooper. Cooper's route running, being able to open up the field he's just easier to open up the field because coming across the middle, getting downfield, just his route running just makes it easier for everybody else. So yeah, I definitely go with Cooper being the most missed.
So I'll take a step back real quick because I agree with you 100% on Russ going to New Orleans. The only issue with that is they have no cap space.
Yeah,
So I don't know
yeah,
how they figure that out. If they can figure that part out, that to me is the easy answer. I mean, obviously they lose Drew Brees, which we've talked about
yeah,
before. He wasn't really those last couple of years were not great.
yeah,
So getting Rusty in an opportunity like that where you have a good defense, they got to get some more weapons. But Kamara obviously is,
mm-hmm.
if they get Michael Thomas back, which I feel like if he comes in and they have Kamara with Rusty to be that missing piece, that's a
Yeah,
contender right there. So I think New
yeah,
Orleans is definitely the better spot for him. Coop definitely was missed more. I do feel like Zeke obviously does not appear to be 100%.
yeah,
And to kind of end that vein, I did want to ask you about that too. So I'm glad Anthony brought this up. We heard some rumblings at the beginning of the week about the potential to sit Zeke in his game
yeah,
to kind of give him the opportunity to have that extended rest period where obviously Thursday night games, you don't play for 10 days before the next game. So if, Mike McCarthy called you up and said, well, I need your input on this.
yeah.
Do we need Zeke in this game or do we sit him? how do you respond to coach in that situation?
I'm sitting Zeke. Pollard's been able to replace him very well, and not even just a replacement, but what he's done at the as a basically the second part of the two-headed monster. He's been able to do well. I think that it's all about the late season run. It's you have to if you have an opportunity to get people healthy, you have to go for it. That's why I was okay for CD sitting last game. I would be okay with Zeke sitting this game as well. You have to take the opportunity to be able to get your people healthy for the late run because if you're able to do that, that's more bullets in your gun at that point, especially once you hit the cold weather, once you hit like the snowy games and things like that, when you really need Zeke, you have the high winds can't really throw the ball as much. You need Zeke to be able to get those ugly yards to be able to get those points on the board. So being able to sit them in games like this, yeah, it's gonna. I think it's still gonna be a good game just because it's in New Orleans. New Orleans crowd is loud. Being able to get everything together, so it's going to be a tough one. Just for being down there, but yeah, I would absolutely sit Zeke for this one if it was me. What about you?
Yeah, I would. There's no reason to play him. I'm not saying that it's
It's
guaranteed
a
they're going to
walk.
win regardless, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you look at what he's been able to do the past few weeks. It has not been
Mm-hmm.
good, and if the reason for
Exactly.
that is because he's not healthy, then what's the
Mm-hmm.
point of having to go out there for 10 carries and 32 yards? If
Yep.
Zeke, Tony Pollard can do that, Corey Clement can do that. Like, it's just one game. We're not going to be
Exactly.
sitting for the rest of the season. So if I can
Exactly.
sacrifice one game, knowing that he'll get 10 days rest off of that one game, and have him ready to go for the stretch run, I would 100% do that. So I,
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they feel like they need to play him because at the end of the day, obviously, if he's not 100%, it's not really all you're doing is making it potentially worse by having him out there.
Exactly.
So certainly they may look at it and say, well, we can play him and he'll still get that 10 days rest. But if you don't play him after the
17.
game that we just played at Thanksgiving, he
That's
gets no
17 right there.
7 days, 17-day rest period. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's a perfect opportunity to do it. So I would send him. I don't know why you play him in this game, particularly because obviously, you know, Pollard's great, and we know that. And
Yeah.
this will kind of give us an opportunity to figure out what the future holds because you may have to pay him too later
Yeah.
down the
Yeah.
line. And so
Yeah.
obviously, I think it's opportunity. It would be an opportunity for him to show what he's made of, an opportunity for Zeke, like I said, to get that 17 days off, which
Yeah.
to me it's a no-brainer. So I'm kind of disappointed in making the decision to play
Yeah.
him. I just don't know why you don't send him.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, with the way that Kellen did a few games ago, actually, it might have been
Jesus.
like cases. Maybe about 5, 6 games ago, they were running CD. They had running plays for CD as well. So it's just stuff like that. You can be able to set up a game plan for not having Z and get more people involved into the running game. And like I say, even when it comes to your short passing game, a lot of times that's seen as a running game as well, just because it's closer towards the line of scrimmage, but it's still forcing the defense to play in space as well. So yeah, I would have went for that extra week of rest for Zeke. 17 days, as you know, with them losing last week, now with this fourth loss, it's a slim chance for them to be able to get that number one spot, just because of how between the Cardinals only having 2 losses, and then you still sitting behind. You have you don't have the tiebreaker when it comes to going against Green Bay and Tampa. Tampa head to head, and then I forgot what it was when it came to Green Bay. But so you're basically going to have to play out the rest of the season to even have a chance for that, which means Zeke won't have a rest for the rest of the season. That's like
right,
6 straight games. So
right.
go ahead, get this rest. That's 17 days, and then he'll be up and ready to close out the season.
So last thing for me, we have about 5 minutes left. Are we sure that the issues that the offense has had lately is just because we have not had Amari and CD, and that we know that with them being back in the lineup, things are going to be fine? or is there any reason to be concerned? And I'll just
I,
a quick little addition to that question. I guess a part B of that question. If those struggles still show up tonight, where we have the issue moving the ball and we don't, with those two guys back,
yeah.
is there a reason for concern as far as the offense goes?
My concern is more the line than missing them two, because Dak being able to move the ball the way would have been able to uh, do what he wants, and he hadn't had that time. So, and that's been an issue. He's been rushed. The sacks, I think the Kansas City game, he didn't get sacked much. Broncos game, he didn't get sacked much. But he's been getting rushed. And that's the whole issue. So it's not missing the receivers that's really been the issue. But he does have to hold the ball a little bit more because they have gotten the separation. But I think it's more of the offensive line. They've been getting pushed back into him. So having a healthy Tyron. So now he actually, I feel like he'll be a little bit healthier. Have to be careful of these penalties that the refs throw at him. Got to get Lyle to play better. I think Zach got beat at least one play last game as well, which basically never happens.
Right.
So it just shows you like it's been. And I think part of that is that rotation, that offensive rotation, that offensive line rotation just threw them off. But so I think that's where the struggle is the offensive line and not just missing the receivers. So what about you? What up, Eddie?
Yeah, I'm about to say I'm gonna touch on that here real quick, but I do also want to say Chris Jones had a field day, so the Chiefs did get sacks. Chris Jones
Yeah.
I think he
I
had
forgot
three
about
and a
him.
half.
Yeah,
He had
yep,
a
my
field
bad.
day.
Yep.
So
Yeah, forgot about him.
but that just confirms your point that the offensive line has been an issue. And that's why I don't like this moving in still, and that hope things go well with Terrence still, obviously. But I'm glad he's not there because now you got to play Lyle. Like you don't have options. So this whole playing half the time doing one guy and we done with that.
Yeah,
Lyle's
exactly.
playing full time right tackle, so let's get popping that way. We'll touch on Eddie's point. Listen, no argument for me.
Exactly.
No argument for me. And so we might have to have Sis jump on at some point.
Exactly.
But we completely agree. We got about a minute and a half left. We'll touch on this real quick. I'll let you handle this one. I'm not.
So, if we had the choice of keeping our coordinators from becoming head coaches or letting Mike go, we're keeping the coordinators to return them into one of them into the head coach. Because like Mike is just another guy. He's done well. He's gotten better as far as like the play calling, as far as or game managing. He's gotten better, but your head coach still is supposed to be one to add value as far as giving you a chance to win at least one or two games in the season. And at this point, I haven't seen that yet. I don't think he's lost any because the team, a lot of games, the team just ends up playing, balling out and end up winning. But those situations has arisen. So I don't think he's lost any, but I don't. Also, on the other side, I haven't seen him win any.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I like him better than a lot of people like him. I think that he gets a bad rap on some of his stuff. I honestly do. But at the same time, he could be better. And I'm not going to do financial response. I'm just going to show it. I'll show it, but I'm not going to respond to it. And these are the type of comments you're going to be getting from Anthony Green. It's probably time to wrap this bad boy up. So, with that being said, appreciate you guys watching, man. We will be back probably on Saturday, giving a recap of this game. We're actually going to do that on our Twitch channel. So stay tuned to the YouTube channel. We'll give you some more information. Obviously, follow us on Instagram and on Twitter as well. But that's it for us, guys. Appreciate you guys hopping on. And for Will, I'm Jay, and we